Okay, so right now in Washington, D.C., there is a massive fight brewing, and it's all about the Jeffrey Epstein files. Seriously, things have hit a boiling point. We're talking about a political firestorm that's pitting the desperate pleas of survivors directly against some really blunt presidential dismissals, and it's scrambling all the usual party lines.
And you can just feel the weight of it all in this quote. This was on September 3rd. An Epstein survivor, Anuska DiGiorgio, is standing on the steps of the U.S. Capitol, and she's speaking directly to the president. It's just this incredibly raw, powerful plea for help.
But then, literally moments later, from the Oval Office, President Trump gives this completely different take. He calls the whole thing a Democrat hoax. And that contrast, right? A survivor begging for help and the president calling it a hoax? That clash is exactly what set the stage for the huge showdown we're seeing now. So this deep, deep division has left everyone asking a really fundamental question. How are these files actually going to be released? And right now in Congress, there are two totally different ideas about how to do it, and they are clashing head-on. Okay, so the first path involves something pretty rare. It's a tool called a discharge petition. Now, what is that? Well, think of it like this. It's a way for a regular majority of House members to basically go over the heads of their own leadership, we're talking the Speaker of the House, and force a vote on a bill. It's kind of like a legislative rebellion, and it is right at the heart of this entire fight.
So let's break down these two clashing strategies. On one side, you've got what we can call the insurgent path. This is led by Republican Thomas Massie and Democrat Khanna. They're the ones using that discharge petition, and their goal is to force a vote to release all the Department of Justice files. And here's the kicker. Their bill says you can't redact information just because it would embarrass a powerful person. On the other side, you've got the establishment path. This one is led by Speaker Mike Johnson and Chairman James Comer. They want a more traditional, formal committee investigation, what they're calling a deep dive. But in their version, the process is controlled, and the DOJ basically gets to curate what information the committee sees.
Now, the establishment side, they made a really big move to try and prove their way is better. The House Oversight Committee just dropped a massive trove of documents, over 33,000 pages. Their argument is basically, see, we're handling it. This discharge petition thing is totally unnecessary. But the pushback to that document dump was fast and it was fierce. Critics immediately fired back saying, whoa, hold on a minute. They claimed that a staggering 97% of those documents, well, it was information that was already public. And, that just poured gasoline on the fire, fueling suspicion that the whole thing was more for show than about real transparency. And this is where it gets really interesting, because this fight isn't your typical Republican versus Democrat squabble. No, the battle lines here are way stranger. You've got alliances that you would just never, ever expect to see, and it's sparking these intense feuds inside the very same party. Just look at who's on each side. Pushing for that direct, full-throated floor vote, you have Thomas Massie, who is a libertarian-leaning Republican, Khanna, a progressive Democrat, and Marjorie Taylor Greene, a firebrand conservative. What a group, right? And then, on the other side, backing the more controlled committee probe, you have Speaker Mike Johnson and pretty much the entire House GOP leadership.
I mean, you really can't make this stuff up. This quote from Khanna says it all. He's a staunch liberal, and even he's openly pointing out how wild it is that he's suddenly allied with one of his biggest political foes. It just shows you how this issue is creating some really strange bedfellows.
And at the same time, the tension inside the Republican Party is just white hot. I mean, listen to this. You have the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, publicly saying that what his fellow Republican Thomas Massie is doing is meaningless. It's just a stunningly blunt dismissal, and it really shows you how high the stakes are for the party leadership here. So what is actually driving all of this? What's the motivation for each of these groups? When you dig in a little deeper, you start to see it's this really complex mix of reasons, ranging from something deeply personal to things that are, well, purely political.
And the motivations couldn't be more different depending on who you ask. For the survivors, this is incredibly personal. It's about healing, it's about justice. But for the politicians, it's a lot about power. The folks backing the petition, they think they can expose some really powerful people. House leadership, they just want to keep control of the process and stop an internal rebellion. And for a lot of Democrats, let's be honest, it's a chance to put some serious political heat on the Republican opponents.
And we just can't lose sight of the human core of this story. These words from survivor Marina Lacerda are just a powerful reminder that for the people who are actually abused, these aren't just political chess pieces. These are parts of their own story, documents they believe they need to even begin to heal and put their lives back together.
So after all the political drama, all the maneuvering, where are we right now? Well, the whole battle has come down to this incredibly dramatic, nail-biting finish. 2. That's it. After months and months of fighting, it all comes down to the number 2. The insurgent group is just 2 Republican signatures away from getting the 218 they need. 2 signatures away from forcing that vote and completely bypassing House leadership.
You know, when you step back, this whole showdown over the Epstein Files really brings up a much bigger debate, a debate about power and transparency in Washington. And it leaves us all with this pretty fundamental question. When we're searching for the truth, who should be in control of the information? Should it be a handful of congressional leaders, or should it be a simple majority of the people who were elected to represent us?